Welcome into Wager Talk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Kevin Dolan and Brian Leonard of WagerTalk.com as we are breaking down college football here. And Kevin, it's starting off with a good one, Houston and Texas Tech. This is going 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific here. And we're seeing 65.5 as the total with the Red Raiders -3 as the home team. What are you thinking here in this Lone Star State battle, Kevin?
Yeah, interesting game here on Saturday, Drew. You know, a lot of people are probably, going to look at that first three quarters for Houston last week and, not be all that impressed, in fairness, with the way the Cougars played. It was a phenomenal fourth quarter comeback by them, in fairness, to push that one into overtime against Texas San Antonio last week. A team, who, let's not forget, had won 10 straight games at home prior to that loss. So I thought that Houston defense did do a great job of stepping up over the last phase of that game last week against the Roadrunners. And, that's something we're used to seeing from them going back to last year as well. Houston ranked top 10 in the nation overall defensive yards allowed last year. They gave up just 4.9 opponent yards per play on the road last season as well. That was good for top 20 in the country. And they returned 62% of their tackling core to this roster this season also. So I do see Texas Tech. I don't see Texas Tech, hanging another 63 points at home this week. In this one, Texas averaged under 200 yards passing through the air over their final three games of last season when the top teams really started to punish them, going through the air. They failed to score a single point at home to Oklahoma State last year as well. And it wasn't just their passing offense where Texas Tech found some resistance last season either. The Red Raiders ranked 91st in the country and overall opponent scoring defense last season, 104th on passing defense as well. So they're going to face a Cougars offense here on Saturday that, while it might have started out fairly slow last week, really started to grow into the game, as a war on, Clayton Tune connecting with 8 different receivers for 3 touchdowns to close out that game. So I think we see an even more improved showing from Houston this week. And I'm not even going to take the points in this one, Drew. I think the Cougars win this one outright in Lubbock this weekend.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Brian, coming to you next, seeing Houston being able to go on the road. Interesting that it was in-state on the road and having to do that again here. Another competitively priced game. Do you like one side or maybe the total here, Brian?
Yeah, we're talking a little bit about the game last week. I had UTSA there, and I had them on the money line. Tough way to lose in triple overtime, but there isn't not much travel here for Houston. Houston was a team. Tune really played well last week, especially as Kevin pointed out late in the game. He was a big difference maker there. And he does kind of have this game circled because they played Texas Tech last year, and he threw 4 interceptions in that game. So this is a game I'm sure he's had on his schedule to circle this matchup. And it's against, obviously, an in-state rival, but next year Houston will be in the same conference as Texas Tech, so it will be a conference game next year. Texas Tech did lose, once again, one of their quarterbacks, their starting quarterback, in the first game of the season. That's something that's been a regularity for this Red Raiders team going back the last 4 or 5 years. A lot of quarterback injuries, and a lot has to do with the offensive line just doesn't protect the quarterback. So the one thing we got to say, though, is Texas Tech's coach came out before the season even started, and he said he thought he had more depth, the 3-man depth at quarterback this year than he'd had in the past. So I don't think that'll make much of a difference. A lot of people are talking about the injury could have an effect at Texas Tech, but because of what the coach said, I'm not too worried about that. But I agree. I agree with Kevin. I like the Houston side here. Normally, if it's an older players, if it's like the NFL and they have to play a full quarter of overtime, that's something I'd like to go against the next week. But these are young kids, and even though it did go into 3 overtimes, you start at the 25, so it's not a lot of running around. You're just out there on the field. So I don't think that'll have much of an effect on them here. I think Houston wins this game outright. Put me down for that also.
Like it, Brian. Great breakdowns from both Kevin and Brian. Talking overtime. Which one do you like more, NFL or college football? Let us know in the reply section below. Also, let us know who you're looking to bet in this Lone Star State battle. So check out Kevin and Brian, WagerTalk.com. Also, make sure to check out Wager Talk on Mondays, guys. It's $9 Mondays. All plays, all handicappers, discounted to just $9. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.